Welcome to the Are You Future Ready podcast. Are you curious about technology, innovation, and how you can stay ahead? Then you've come to the right place. In our series, we tap into the minds of people behind innovation. This podcast is brought to you by LR's Product Development and Innovation Center.
Hi, I'm Linda Gharib, Director of Brand and Communications at Wolters Kluwer, based in New York City, and your host of the Are You Future Ready podcast. Today, we'll talk about innovation, trends, and tips on what you can do to become future ready with our guests, Christie Wang, VP and Managing Director of Wolters Kluwer Global Growth Markets, joining us today from Beijing, China, and David Bartolone, VP and General Manager of Legal and Regulatory US, joining us from Reston, Virginia, right outside the DC area. Welcome to the podcast, Christine and David.
Thank you, Linda. It's really wonderful that I can participate and appreciate the invite.
Great.
Yeah, the same here. Thank you for the invitation.
Great. Well, we're excited to have you both on the show. And before we start talking about innovation, would love for each of you to share just a little bit about your background and a little bit about what your current role is today. Christie, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I'm Christie Wang. I have over 20 years of working experience in information service industry, serving customers in several segments, including legal, tax, financial service, and healthcare. So I joined Wolters Kluwer China in 2009, starting from business development and go-to-market strategy for health business in China market, and then spent a couple of years as a general manager for tax and legal business in China, and offering the Chinese language legal database and audit software products for CPA firms here. So now I'm responsible to the overall operation for GGM China, the Global Growth Markets China, including the legal, tax, and health business, focusing on driving go-to-market strategy for global products into China market, and also local product innovation and transformation to expert solutions.
I'm a veteran of Wolters Kluwer. I've been with the company now for a little over 25 years. I've worked in several locations, including the Washington, D.C. area, New York. I've worked overseas in the Netherlands for quite some time, and recently have repatriated back to the United States. Mainly, I've grown up through the sales and marketing functional areas, including product management, and also most recently, general management. Today, I manage the Kluwer Law International business, which is located in Alphen with offices in London and some employees in Mexico City. But I also recently took over a health compliance business called MediRegs, and working with Legal and Regulatory US on partnerships and licensing for the business unit as a whole.
Great. Thanks for that. So, Christie, I'd like to start off with you. Many of our guests so far have been from Europe or the U.S., and would love to hear from you. What are some of the market insights you can share with us about the Chinese legal, accounting, health markets, just at a really high level, something you'd like to share?
Sure. By comparison with the European or US market, professions such as lawyers or CPAs in China are relatively young, with only around 20 to 30 years of development. And the number of professionals are still behind what is needed, considering this country has the second largest GDP and the largest population in the world. So let's take lawyers as an example. In every 10,000 population, there are around 43 lawyers in the United States, it is reported, while in China, there are only 3.4 lawyers in every 10,000 population. So the number of the lawyers are much smaller here. But however, In China, the number of lawyers are increasing very fast at more than 10% CAGR actually over the past 10 years. So now there are around 473,000 lawyers in China this year, and it is expected that the number will grow into 600,000 in the coming 2 years. So we notice that in this market, there are increase in legal and regulatory change and fast-growing legal professionals, and also the young professionals actually enter into market every year. So those are the factors driving the demand for legal solutions in China and make this market an exciting opportunity for us. And another trend in China market is the market is very technology driven. There are heated competition from both local and global players in legal database and software, for example. So after 10 years of hard work, our legal database offering is now a market leader in China law firms and corporate sector. However, local players are very strong in the legal software, for example, in the contract management software embedded with a ERP system. So we need to explore the product innovation, providing both know-how and expert answers, but also the workflow software to meet the legal professionals' needs.
Great, thanks, Christie. It sounds like you have a lot of digital-first lawyers to serve, which is a good challenge, and it sounds really exciting to see that level of growth. David, to transition to you a little bit, I know that you've seen several digital transformations in your time here at Wolters Kluwer. Can you give us some insights on any pivotal moments?
Yeah, Linda, that's interesting. When I first started with Wolters Kluwer, on my desk was only a phone and a pad of paper. Within a few months of starting, you already started to see desktops appear. Within the first year, the office was wired for the internet. So it shows over the past 20 years, the acceleration of change, just the pace is something we haven't seen before. With that, you saw really three milestones, I would say. The first is, as the internet became pervasive, this move from accessing print products and accessing them in a digital environment. And it started with just simply books, basically print books online, and that evolved into these aggregation type models where search, filter, browse became very important, and then finally starting to integrate into the workflow of the professional, and where Wolters Kluwer is headed with expert solutions.
And we've seen that trend further accelerate during COVID time as well. Everyone's looking for a new productivity and efficiency within their firms.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, just the work with everybody working from home, you just don't have the physical access to some of the information tools that you did before. And in one webinar that I was participating in, one of the speakers said that at their law firm, they had more innovation in the first 3 months of COVID than they had in the last 10 years.
Thanks, David. And Christie, can you share with us any lessons learned from driving digital transformation in Greater China?
Yes, sure. We've actually been working on a digital transformation journey over the past 10 years. So when I joined Wolters Kluwer China in 2009, the majority part of the revenue was still from print and events and training services. But now, more than 90% of the China revenue is from digital solutions, including software and database offerings. So we actually have a lot of good experience, but also a lot of lessons learned along the journey. So one of the biggest lessons we learned is that we should not spread ourselves too thin and work on too many new ideas at one time. For example, I still remember that in earlier years when we developed our legal solution, BOLD, we call it BOLD, Best Online Legal Database. Then the team was so eager to drive new product ideas. So they developed 3 new products: legal database, HR database, and tax law database at one time. So actually, each of the product innovation needed a lot of investment. Then step by step, we realized that we won't be able to achieve success in any of this until we do it one by one. And we need to make decision what we want to wait and what we want to accelerate. Then the team changed the plan and put most resources to legal database first. And once it built a certain customer success and market reputation, we start to drive the other 2, like labor law specialty module and later on tax regulation database. Now those products are very successful in the market. And another lesson I want to share is that we learned digital innovation should not limit itself in a product innovation. It should be part of a much broader go-to-market plan. It should not be isolated, a product idea or only user focus. The team needs to make a clear market segmentation, analyze both buyers and users' behavior, and be clear about how to sell the product.
Great. Thanks, Christie. It sounds like focusing, prioritizing, and not spreading yourself too thin so that you can go deep before you scale. And David, I know your role is quite broad globally, and would love to hear any insights you have for breaking through in a new market or creating a market for your products.
Yeah, so I'll pick up on a couple of themes that Christie said, and in terms of breaking through the market, whether whether that's a customer segment or a particular industry that you want to enter, best to build from a position of strength. Best to be able to leverage whatever your strength is. Is it your brand? Is it a certain technology? And as Christie was saying, you kind of have to start with the customer. I mean, with KLI, we generally follow our large law firm customers into different markets. And then as they enter those new markets, what are their needs in that particular market? What are some of the challenges or difficulties they have? And what solutions could we then provide?
We talked a bit about digital transformation, but what innovations are you most excited about now?
Yeah, so right now I'm most excited about the innovation that can drive results more efficiently to our customer. So we start from the age of print, then the age of digital database, then move to a software expert solution, the whole purpose. I share with you one example of the legal product innovation in China team that drive results for users. It's called the Ad Checker. It's an intelligent advertisement review tool on our legal solution board that can really save time, money for customer and avoid the compliance risk for them. It's a tool that automatically checks advertisement. So over the past 5 years, there are more than 65,000 penalty cases in China due to the violation of the newly released advertisement law. And many corporate lawyers did not know why and how their ads caused problems. And Ad Checker is such a tool, intelligent legal review tool that can scan all the advertisement for our customer in text, in images, or in different format of document and help them to identify the risk and find the answers, solutions. One customer example is Marriott International. So through the continuous innovation, AdChecker today can work really like a software that can conduct the web page monitoring and automatic review for our customer. So Marriott International is one of the typical user of AdChecker scan in China. It's an internationally renowned hotel management company. Marriott provides hotel booking service and has many, many websites and also social media like blogs, WeChat, and other social media channels for promotion, branding, or customer use. It has more than 6,000 Chinese language web pages to be reviewed every year, which is almost impossible to be done manually. So before they use AdChecker, those websites were released actually mostly without legal review, which has brought substantial compliance risk for the company. And we now provided quarterly review for Marriott China, and AdChecker scans more than 6,000 web pages within 1 day, and then feeds back a report to Marriott, including qualified scoring, highlighting risky words, classified risk levels with different colors, and legal basis, regulations, referred penalty cases, and also suggestions and tips by professional experts in advertisement law area. So as a result, the compliance risk of Marriott was significantly reduced, and they're really happy with AdChecker. So this is one example that the direction we are working hard on to drive more direct results and efficiency to our customers.
Yeah, that's a great example of automation, right? Like something that people couldn't really do the amount of volume, but really interesting way to infuse technology into that process and let folks do more higher level work as well. So really, really great example of that. And David, what are you most excited about?
I think what I'm excited about is the application of, as we say, artificial intelligence or machine learning to data sets that we have, and marrying together the algorithms with perhaps some vendor enrichment and then applying our domain expertise to really get to some deliverables or some outcomes that are incredibly more insightful for our users and customers. And I think that's the exciting part of what we're working on right now, particularly as we evolve our products from simply dynamic research services to providing more of the expert solutions that our customers are looking for.
Great. Thanks, David. Christie, the last time we spoke, you mentioned that the innovation process is a combination of pain and excitement. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I feel the innovation process is combined with a lot of excitement and a lot of pains. So in the beginning, we might have an initial idea, but there are a lot of things that are vague and have no answers. So in the product design process, the customer discovery is the most important and maybe painful but exciting thing. Our team need to have deep communication with customers or future customers and truly understand their pain points and discuss together with future users what might be the solution step by step. So our product team in this process, they have built very close relationship with lawyers, corporate legal counsels, and industry experts to get their insight. And another exciting but painful process is we need to build a business case and go-to-market plan around that innovation idea, because product function is only part of the innovation. We need to consider users, buyers, how to sell, and partnership, even the ecosystem and others. So I often encourage product team to think like a general manager or mini mini general manager to build their ownership to the new product or innovation and work both on top line and bottom line. And some team member may feel a bit challenging and painful, but most of the staff see it as a great learning process and have a stronger sense of ownership and achievements.
Just want to switch gears a little bit here to, what career advice would you give your younger self? Both of you have had long careers and, some really great experiences driving transformation. But thinking about, yourself when you started, are there any things that you wish you knew then?
So the career advice I would give to my younger self is to understand people better and to understand how to motivate people and drive a change and innovation effectively.
One of the probably the best advice I ever got in my early in my career is don't type angry. But other than that, which has served me well, I'd say that the most important thing that I would have loved to have known is, actually two. One is, sometimes a younger person is more concerned with the product output or what the product is, and doesn't have an appreciation for the market or the particular industry. And I guess what I mean by that is, look, I've been 25 years in the information industry. When I was a kid, I didn't grow up saying like, gosh, I really want to work for a big professional information provider. But it's been one of the most exciting careers I could have possibly imagined and give tremendous opportunities.
That's great. Thank you. One of the things that we know is clear and is important is the importance of, continuing to learn and staying on top of the changing market and innovation trends and what's coming up. So would love for each of you to share what are some of the things that you do to kind of stay on top of all of the changes?
There is a wealth of opportunity out there to if you're willing to look for it. I mean, there are a number of industry podcasts, particularly if you look at the legal market in the U.S., there are thought leaders in the knowledge management area that we work closely with. You could follow their podcasts. Do we be strategic is one. Bob Ambrosi does a tremendous legal tech podcast. And also from a general management perspective, when we talk about innovation, there's so many innovations in just the way we structure our organizations, the way we manage and motivate employees. Harvard Business Review is something that I constantly go back to. And then there's great resources to stay up to date on your markets. And for me, particularly with managing an international business, news publications like Financial Times and The Economist are just vital to what I do.
Right, very similar to what David shared. And in addition to that, I want to add the point that to stay updated to the market, it's important to talk to customers and industry players. So usually I do as much as I can to visit customers and talk to them, understand their needs and their thoughts on the future. I found it very, very helpful. And the other way is to talk to the local players and people who have a lot of entrepreneurship. So they are, they have a lot of idea on the innovation. They may not be the best one, to realize those ideas, but they are so passionate and so creative on those ideas. I learn a lot from them.
That's great. And so someone might be listening and say, well, that's easy for David and Christie. They have all of these existing relationships, but I'm new and just starting. And especially now with COVID, everything is virtual. Any advice you'd give to someone kind of just starting out on how to continue to build those relationships, even, while working from home?
Yes, I mean, what I find is actually, and actually in discussions with my own sales teams, they find it actually easier to engage with customers since COVID began. Partially because when you remove, a professional from an office environment and you put them in the home, what I've heard is that that the conversations are becoming more casual. They're becoming more personal. I think that there's almost a global sense of we're all in this together, which has removed some of the barriers to certain people or access, or whether those are real or imagined barriers, right? So what I found is that using video conferencing, engaging with customers with text messages and things like that, they've been receptive. They've been open. I think that there is a little less formality, and I think it's a good opportunity to take advantage of that less formality before we're back in the offices again, and maybe we fall back into some of our old habits.
Great. Both of you had shared some really great insights today with our listeners. But just, before we let you go, any final advice you'd like to give our listeners about becoming future ready?
Okay, so on my side, I would strongly suggest people to keep curiosity. Is curious on things that can bring customer value and that can really make our life better and easier. So I would encourage the team to keep high curiosity, generate new ideas and test on the new things, and engage with customers. And innovation is not a slogan. It's not an act for 1 or 2 times. It should be a normal process in our daily work, and also not only on everyday life, but also always thinking about the future needs, and be curious about that.
What the best advice I would give is be adaptive to change. The culture, the environment we live in today, there's just a velocity behind the way we do work, the way we operate, the engagement. Is just there's a tremendous pace of innovation, and you have to be open to changing the way you do it. And then the second piece of advice I would give is be part of the solution. Almost anywhere you look, there is a process, a tool, or something that can be improved. And know that you're empowered to speak up and voice your suggestions to make those improvements or to change a process. If something's not working and you feel it's not working, as a manager, I can't wait to hear about it. I would love to hear about it. So feel empowered.
Great. On that note, Christie and David, thank you so much for joining us today. Stay safe, and we look forward to having you back on the show again soon. Take care.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Future Ready podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode and make sure to subscribe to our Wolters Kluwer channel on SoundCloud.